afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Northwestern Michigan College. I'm Rachel Johnson. I am the chair of your Board of Trustees, and on behalf of the entire board, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming here today to celebrate with us. We're here today to celebrate former NMC President Tim Nelson by honoring him and the pinnacle of his decades-long presidency by officially naming this incredible building the Timothy J. Nelson Innovation Center. Yes, that definitely deserves a round of applause. Today we will hear how Tim's clear vision, determination, focus on relationship building, and most importantly, dedication to our students' success all came together to help bring this building to life. While Tim was an architect of sorts for this college community during his presidency, he worked closely with an actual architect, John Dancer, on how best to translate that vision into our physical spaces across campus. So we will begin today's event hearing more from Vice President of Cornerstone Architects, John Dancer, on his relationship with Tim and what makes this building so special. John?
Thank you, Rachel. I first met Tim Nelson in 2000 during an interview for the Health and Science Building, which is right behind you. And it was a very important project for our firm. Our firm is composed of three principals. All three went to NMC. Tom Nemitz is here. Dan Icavoni couldn't make it. But the project was very important to us. And during the interview, we got the usual questions from the board about schedule and work plan and how we're going to engage students and faculty and, of course, budget. But Tim asked questions that were more like thesis questions, questions you didn't really quite know the answer. They were questions of, how are you going to design this science lab building to have a flexible learning environment that will engage students for the longevity of life? And you're like, what? What do you mean flexible? How do I make a chemistry lab flexible? So immediately we're dancing around this question in the interview. I'm thinking we're going to put fume hoods on wheels. We're going to have science tables that have mobile Bunsen burners with gas, and it's just, I don't understand how we're going to do this. And we left the interview, and I said to Tom, I don't think that went very well. I don't know that we're gonna get this project. But lo and behold, we got the project. And that started what was really a 20-year relationship. That was in 2000, over 20 years. But Tim kept challenging us on this flexibility. Tim really did not like the idea of having dedicated space that would only be used 1 or 2 or 3 hours a day, and we're spending all of this money on this infrastructure, but it had no flexibility. And he kept challenging us with that. We then did the Great Lakes campus, again, very dedicated types of spaces, but again, he was challenging us about trying to really find flexible environments. And then after that building, we had Aero Park Lab. Aero Park Lab was the renovation of an old industrial building, and he said, this is the perfect building. It's wide open, and we can make movable walls. We can have technology in this building. It can be classroom space. It can be technology wood shops. It can be HVAC shops 1 week, and we can expand these spaces and make them bigger and smaller. And I said, Tim, that's great. I'm so excited about this project. What's the budget? He told me the budget. I don't remember numbers. He's always quizzing me on numbers. I'm terrible at numbers. But the budget was literally nothing. And I said, well, we could paint it. And he didn't like the answer at all. So we didn't develop it, but we used this industrial racking system where we put wall panels on the lower part and acoustic panels on the upper part, where you could pick them up and move them around. There's no power in them, there's no technology in them, but it was a really low-tech, cost-effective solution. And even today, those walls get to be moved around. And then we end up with the Innovation Center, which is really what Tim had been asking us to design for 20 years. It really is the building that he wanted. There's no dedicated space in this building. There's no dedicated space at all. It's all 100% flexible, except for maybe the radio station. And even the library is totally flexible. The building is built on an access floor that has technology and data and power that's underneath it that can be moved anywhere. All the furniture is on wheels. The doors, even into the closed rooms, are wide enough that you can move any of those pieces of furniture in and out at any time. And in fact, it was only really designed to be flexible. And the amazing part was that we had the pandemic, and it worked perfectly during the pandemic because you were able to socially distance. You can distance learn. It gave people who don't have access, who live in surrounding communities, it gave them access 24/7 to technology and high-speed internet that they may not have where they live. And so it's the perfect building that Tim, I think, was always driving us to get to. And I can't think of a better building to have his name on it. And in fact, I just want to say, and many of you may know this, but the building recently won an AIA Michigan Honor Award for outstanding design. And that's not just because of us, it's really because Tim has always been pushing us to do that. And this is not a little award, this is like one of very few in the whole state of Michigan. So these are all the biggest architects in the whole state that are competing against this. And Tim, I just really personally want to thank you for pushing our firm, pushing us, and you've made me truly a much better architect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. And you know what I really love about that story is that our mission at NMC is to provide lifelong learning for our communities and for our students. And John, you are an excellent student of NMC. It only took you 20 years to get it right, but you certainly did. What probably helped with the success of this particular business this particular building is we also had the support of our local legislators. And I want to acknowledge that we have here with us today Representatives Jack O'Malley and John Roth and Senator Schmidt. And I would like to invite Senator Schmidt and Representative Roth up.
Good afternoon. I just want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you to Tim. You're talking relationships. And again, as many of you know, I've grown up here in Traverse City, took classes here, and it was the relationship working with Tim to make sure that we brought the funding back to Traverse City. And that, the Innovation Center, a number of other projects, it's because of his vision, his commitment to NMC, making sure that I understood that commitment, what innovation really meant, and we got it. We got that project. I know you've passed that along, that relationship, to President Nisley, because he's down in the office quite a bit too. So that's it. And I just want to say thank you to both of you for your commitment to Traverse City, to NMC, to Northwestern Lower Michigan, and I'm very proud to be here. John?
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate that. As a student of Northwestern Michigan College, I actually got one of the first scholarships for the Michigan Boating Industry Association program here. So that was really cool. But what I saw was when my wife and I lived downtown Traverse City, we had pilots that lived above us. Pilots that were hoping maybe they'd get to deliver the mail to Mackinac City or maybe over to Beaver Island, or if they got into freight delivery, woo! Good times, right? And just a month ago, we all toured the Aviation Center again and went, oh my Lord, this isn't a joke. This is under leadership of Tim Nelson. We've got pilots training here to be commercial pilots. I mean, how exciting is that? It's not just flying over, getting some freight, doing that kind of thing. This is a major, major thing for Northwestern Michigan College, and it's due to President Nelson. So thank you, sir, for all your leadership.
Thank you both. Thank you for your ongoing support of NMC. We'll be back asking for more money in the future. Those don't matter. While this project was clearly part of Tim's vision for our college, it could not have happened without the support of our community and our donors. And so next up, I would like to ask Bruce Beil, a Foundation board member, to say a few words.
Thank you. I'm Bruce Beil, a member of the NMC Foundation Board. and I was honored to co-chair our Be What's Possible campaign with Susie Janis, and you could not ask for a better co-chair than Susie Janis. Both of us are proud NMC alum and fellows of NMC. It was nearly 6 years ago, under Tim's leadership, NMC undertook a transformational effort. Inspired by the college's potential and fueled by dreams of our community, our comprehensive campaign, which would support many areas of the college and increase public awareness of philanthropy for our college's future. This would be the largest fundraising campaign ever undertaken by NMC. It would take strong leadership and steadfast commitment, and Tim offered both as he recruited both Susie and me to lead the campaign. Tim offered a vision of the future and a history of demonstrated success. This new innovation center was at the heart of the campaign, inspiring loyal friends to dig deep and welcoming others who did not know the college to get involved in the campaign. With Tim's vision and inspiration, countless hours that they served both Tim and Nancy, combined with the community support for NMC, success was almost inevitable. And succeed we did, smashing through our original goal of $35 million and raising more than $40 million to support our students, our college, and the community. Thank you. I'm thrilled to witness the rededication of this tremendous facility. Through the challenges of the past year, we have persevered and then some. It's wonderful to come together to honor Tim's legacy and to celebrate the energy and innovation that makes our beloved NMC thrive. Not only can you see the new lettering on the exterior of this magnificent space, but there are also surprises inside. It seemed appropriate that as the development of this facility coincided with the campaign, that this should be our space to mark our campaign achievements. Inside, you're going to see a donor wall recognizing the major donors. We will forever be grateful for the 5,200 donors who supported NMC through this campaign, especially those who made major gifts, which made this project literally possible. So thank you to all our supporters, to our community, and a special thanks to Tim Nelson, Nancy Johnson, and the Board of Trustees for making something possible into something real. Thank you all for everything you have done to make this possible. And it's now my pleasure to welcome our own Possibilitarian to the podium, President Nick Nistley. Will you please say a few words? Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back, Tim and Nancy. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. I consider myself one of the luckiest people here because I get to be in the Innovation Center day in and day out. My favorite companions in the center are always our NMC students because I'm so incredibly inspired by whenever I'm in the company of them because they're always striving to achieve their dreams. The range of events that we hold now in this Innovation Center remind me that we have such amazing, diverse activities on this campus. And let me tell you about just the past couple of weeks here in the Innovation Center. 3 weeks ago, many of you were here when it was filled with costumed superheroes for the annual Big Little Hero race, which is hosted by our professional communications students. And this year, they benefited the College for Kids scholarships. 2 weeks ago, we hosted the Experiential Learning Symposium in the Innovation Center, where our faculty got to exchange ideas around how to implement experiential learning in their classes. And this past weekend, it hosted entrepreneurs during Startup Weekend, the culmination of the first Northern Michigan Startup Week. We also had Pizza with the President here the last week of the semester, a casual drop-in lunch that I get to enjoy with our students. And food, by the way, is a necessary fuel for innovation, and thus a big part of the Innovation Center. Our residence hall students eat here daily, and I know that the friendships that are fostered over those meals will be a huge part of their college experience. But when I talk about students isn't limited just to our currently enrolled NMC students either. Another group to use the Innovation Center recently was a group of 40-some fifth graders from Blair Elementary School. For this past year, they've participated in a mentorship program with our Phi Theta Kappa students, and it culminated in a field trip here to the Innovation Center. They were so excited to see all that NMC has to offer. And a definite highlight was the esports lab in the lower level. I think it's through programs and events like this that will continue to make campus welcoming to our future students. These are just a few examples of how the Innovation Center is truly living up to the vision that Tim Nelson had for this space. A vision that it would be a space for collaboration, that it would be vibrant, and it would be flexible. While it's our newest campus building, I know that already I can't imagine NMC without it. Now I'd like to introduce Chris Bott, who's the immediate past chair of the NMC Board of Trustees.
Welcome everyone. It's nice to see everyone here, and Tim and Nancy, it's been a while, but I'm glad to see you again. You know, we talk about Tim's tenure here at NMC, many only think back to the last 20-some years, but I'm told that he started here in 1975 at the West Hall as an RA. And I know that you both lived in the West Hall for some time, and Nancy was in the counseling office for a while. So their connection to NMC goes back decades. And Tim's commitment to NMC has just been exemplary and outstanding. We have our legislators here. They understand the capital outlay program. The state has a limited amount of money that they set aside for community colleges to fund major infrastructure. And that's something that you have to put your program, or in this case this building, in front of them year after year. This first was attempted in 2010, and it basically took until 2016 to be able to get the $7.4 million. Much of that was with the help of our legislative friends, but also Tim's determination and dedication to make this a reality. I mean, this building, if you've not gone through it and you have the chance to go through tonight, you will be impressed. You know, Tim has had a mantra. He's got a couple little sayings. You know, if you're not at the table, you might be on the menu. That's one of my favorite ones. You know, we're a plan, do, check, adjust institution. You got to be not afraid to try things, move forward, and if it doesn't work out, make adjustments and take corrective actions. That lives on with, I think, even the decision-making processes with the board today. But he also had probably our favorite one, which he has on coins and a few other things, is keeping learning at the center. And that's what this building was envisioned to be, a central focal point on this campus for students to come, to study by themselves, in groups, to take classes, to have a flexible area to study, and they can even get food, and it's open 24/7. So Tim even thought ahead for all the procrastinators out there, that they would have the ability to come in late at night and get their studying done. We've got a state-of-the-art library, and if you have not seen that, there's actually a designed quiet room with a fireplace. I mean, they've thought about everything in this building, and it's a great testament to a vision and dedication to get to this point. Should note too that with the pandemic, we ended up with what's called e-commerce sports, that they basically have a lab here in this building where they can do their little competitions remotely from this facility. So they've had to adapt to the pandemic. But with the funding in 2016, the groundbreaking was in September of 2018, and even through the pandemic and with construction and material delays, we had a ribbon cutting ceremony in September of 2020. And it was kind of anticlimactic because at that time there really wasn't anybody on campus. Classes were remotely, and we really didn't have or know how this innovative space would be utilized by the students and faculty and staff. But it's coming, and as Nick has said, they're starting to realize that this is the place to go to. I think having food in the facility is a big component of that. I know that when I studied, used to be able to get a grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup in the basement cafe that was here. But they've really gone all out to address all the needs of the students in this facility. So we're happy to get to this date and to be able to name it in Tim's honor. You know, when the board had the opportunity to have this discussion, I think it was one of the easiest discussions that we ever took. And it was amazing to me to have the different perspectives from 6 other trustees weigh in on where they thought Tim had succeeded. And that's what you have done, Tim, is you had a vision and you brought it to fruition, and this college is a better place for this. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to end with a quote. It's a quote that someone made after a special board meeting on January 17th, 2001. This is what Tim had to say. He was asked about NMC's past accomplishments, maybe a little bit about where the future would lie. And Tim said this: "I see our link with the past in our commitment to the community, to learning, and to our spirit of innovation. These must be retained, nurtured as we continue on our journey." So over 21 and a half years ago, that's a vision that Tim had, and he held true to it. And that's why we're here today, to honor him. So Tim, would you please come forward and accept this honor?
So Chris just gave me one of my challenge coins. I have to do this. I have mine, so that means you buy my drink. Well, first, thank you everybody for coming. I'm not good at getting congratulated. I can feel a little bit like maybe I just attended my own funeral. I don't know. I will tell you, though, that I'll try to be short. You know, Lynn in the president's office called me last week and said, "I had a nightmare. I dreamt you were bringing a PowerPoint to this thing." And I assured her I was not bringing a PowerPoint. I'm truly humbled. I'm honored by this. I want to thank the board, current and past. I want to thank the faculty and staff and students who helped to design this. John didn't talk about the meeting after meeting he had with the people who were going to use the building, sitting at tables with little squares representing various types of rooms, saying, well, we think this one ought to be next to that, and that ought to be moved over here, and this ought to go down, and that ought to come up. And he was very good, just like a mother raising infants. But he got it right. I want to thank our senator and our representatives. We did spend a lot of time there. David Gregory is out here in the audience, and David was our counselor in Lansing, who after multiple tries I said, apparently I'm not good enough alone. I got to have somebody down there that worked with me. And David was successful. We did it that first year through, so I thank you for that. And Gabe Schneider, who's in the back, who you all know from our region, was the other part of that team. And without them and without our legislators, we probably would not have gotten this done. So when we first started this building, people would say, so Tim, what's going to happen in there 5 years from now? And my answer was, if I knew what was going to happen 5 years from now, it's not very innovative. Okay? It's really up to the people who are here. I mean, what do you want to do with it? I'm glad, Chris, that you told me you gave it to me, but I can't take it home, so it's here. I do want you to know that that long history we have with this college is very important. In 1975, this summer, I moved here following my wife, Nancy, who moved here before me. She wasn't my wife then. I was smart, I think, to do that. And I took a job as the supervisor for this West Hall dormitory in the apartment complex. And we decided we wanted to get married. This was in the fall of 1975. Well, the college had a policy that no one could have dogs on campus. Nancy was living over
on Hamilton Street. She had my Samoyed and her Kali mix. And they used to come visit a lot. And so I asked the director of housing whether or not I could have our dogs if we got married. It's Greg Fisher. He said, well, I'll have to check with the dean of students, who was Lorne Kerr. And so Lorne and Greg were talking about this, and Bill Yankee, who was then the president, apparently walked by where they had having this discussion. And he said, well, I had one when my wife was the resident director at Western. And that was it. So we got married. Nancy really had to love me to move into a residence hall for the first year and a half of her marriage. But I will tell you that the dogs were great. The students loved them. They'd come down every day. Can we play with Lady? Can we play with Andy? Can we take them out? Now, there were lots of descriptions of what we did in my 20 years here. None of that would have happened without the faculty, the staff, the executive staff, members of this community, and I thank them all. The college has said forever, this is the community's college, and it truly is. And the community finds thousands of ways to be engaged. So I want to make certain that I formally thank Nancy. I couldn't have done this without her. Thank my son Leland. My two sisters, Pam and Lori, are here. And I'm sure that my mom and dad are up there very happy with what they're seeing. So I didn't write any of this down. Thank you all for being here. It's a great honor. It's a wonderful building. I will probably start a company so I can come over here and use it. Thank you.
I guess I should start by saying thank you, Nancy, for bringing Tim to our community, and thank you, Tim, for bringing your vision to our community college. And thank you to all of you. The fact that you're here today tells me you were some part of making this building happen. And this building is making education happen at NMC and in our community. So thank you for being a part of that, and we invite all of you to join us inside for a reception. Thank you.